Do you read me over?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. All right, what's going on, everybody? Friday night's eve, baby Friday. Well, shit. It's almost the weekend. Welcome back to another show. Let me unfesticate myself here in just a second. Get my notes all together. And we'll kick this mother effing show, baby. So, I got a really good show for you today. It's just kind of, I'm into all that motivational stuff. And let me just be clear that, it's all about perception and all those things. And I was like, well, what can I talk about? Usually when I'm going through something that's personal or whatever the case, I'm a pretty good transparent book. So I want to just talk about this topic today. But before we get started, why don't we get all the pleasantries out of the way? Hey, this show is brought to you by, yours truly. And what I do is I help people, whether they're business owners, professionals, just the regular family, service member, active duty, retirees, veterans, put really good strategies together on the financial side, because at some point, God forbid something were to happen, what's going to happen to that income? Your VA, that money from the VA, or maybe your retirement. SVP is not the best. It's not a good hedge against. It's something better than nothing. Wouldn't it make sense that your family has access to an entire amount of funding, where God forbid something were to happen, that they don't have to downgrade their house or anything of the sort, as well as put other strategies as it pertains to growing your assets instead of just blowing your money on things that by the next year won't really be a thing. Watch that money grow so that you can really retire when you want to and not have to work because you have to well into your 70s and 80s. So that's what I do. If you're open and you want to find out and just a little curious and find out what it is. And by the way, we're also hiring and growing. And this job, this is not even a job. Doing this career field is perfect for service members, active duty, veterans. Why? Because you can build a book of business, and this could be your side hustle that eventually could become your main hustle. Once we start building a book of business and giving you momentum, that way you could go to VA appointments when you can, not have to ask your boss or your master, hey, can I go, do this, do that, and give you your time back with your family. Wouldn't that make sense? Well, let's have a 30, 40-minute conversation. No pressure, no commitment whatsoever. Just information and knowledge that you can actually apply right away. And this is completely free at no cost to you. So hit me up, and then we can have a conversation. What I also do is I also help veterans. I use AI. I'm pretty savvy with that nowadays because you have to be. And hey, what's going on, Rachel? How are you? And what I do is I show you how to fish. I show you how to use ChatGPT so that you can, best take charge of your own benefits and be able to help yourself while you're learning the process. And I'll help you reapply. Doesn't really cost anything. All that is just, we're just getting you through the process because you want to put in for something. You want to put in for some benefits. Why? Well, why not? I mean, you gave your body, mind, soul, and spirit to this great nation of ours. Why not make it? Why not get your compensation that you deserve and that you earned? Does that make sense? And by the way, there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline for VA benefits. As a matter of fact, we just had a huge pay raise at the beginning of this year. So good for you, good for us. So if you have any questions, you want to set up an appointment, you could go right here on the show description. There, it's to my link tree. Go in there, set up an appointment on my calendar, and let's have a Zoom conversation and go from there. Okay. And again, you can fact check me all you want, and but it's pretty much good gouge, good information. Hoorah, hoorah! All right. So look, this show, you know that we're all about supporting the the great American Constitution, the document. Whether we agree or disagree doesn't really matter. Hey, that's our birthright as American citizens, naturalized or just born here or native. Doesn't really matter. So if you like what we stand for, freedom of speech, right to bear arms, all that good stuff, agree to disagree, like, subscribe, and follow. Post me all around, let everybody else know. And if you don't, that's okay too. Swipe left, go to sitchradio.com, get with Brian Colburn. He's an amazing guy, and he can help you get past that. And podcasting, there's a bunch of other shows that tickle your fancy in there. All right. All right. So that's all the pleasantries out of the way. So here's what we wanted to talk about. Today's topic. So, a lot of us think that by the way, I'm a huge proponent for manifestation, neuroplasticity, neurophysics, all of that. I am 100% all about it because it is a new realm, a new field. It's relatively new. I mean, it's been around for the last, 10, 15 years, something like that. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I think there's a huge misconception nowadays that people, we could just magically wish our way through whatever it is that we got going on and be successful. And that is further from the truth. So today we're going to talk about what is the real cost of chasing a dream or hitting your actual goals and building a life that you actually want, and not to settle for the one that you're actually in. Because again, nobody here comes to this world meant to be a loser, even this, regardless of your situation. And my kids know better that to get on that, me horse, because look, if anybody here, I mean, I came here, I am an immigrant. I don't know if I'm first, second generation. What does that mean? I guess with my kids, I'm first generation because my kids were all born here. But I came here. My mom came first. Then my sister and I came, and I'm not gonna say it was rough, like, oh shit, working the fields, whatever, because whatever, it doesn't really matter. But everything has a cost. Even us migrating. I mean, I can remember watching. I was 12 and a half years old. I was at the old airport in Medellin, Colombia. By the way, a lot of people go to Medellin. So most of you who are familiar, the old airport down in the city. This is when, you can still go to the terminal, say goodbye to people. I mean, this is 1985, folks. Yes, I'm that old. I'm that older because by 85, I was like, I was 12 and a half. Anyways, I can remember our entire family lined up right there at the terminal on a balcony, waving and saying goodbye. Fuck, I'm kind of getting teary-eyed talking about this. But I remember that. Wow, this is the first time I've talked about that. That was the last time I got to see my grandmother alive. Shortly after that, she passed away. There was an accident, and anyways, everything has a cost, right? New land, new this, whatever business venture. You pay it up front with discipline, sacrifice, or discomfort, or you pay it later with regret and, man, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? So we're going to dive into the difference between temporary suffering, because that's good, versus permanent suffering, right? So what if from the classic, and then I also wanted to kind of piggyback and talk about the old, I almost joined the service, that right there really, really just kind of chaps my ass, so to speak. So I do want to talk about that because a lot of people tend to do that nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So we'll dive a little deeper into that and see what we can we can circle back and come up with. All right. So yeah, so we're sold on a lie that you can have it all without sacrifice, and that is further from the truth. You can see, you could man, it just, I remember the days without social media. I mean, I grew up in that time frame. I feel like like a fucking caveman right now. Like, oh, fire, oh, wheel. I wonder if that's how my grandmother. My grandmother passed away many many years ago, and I wonder if that's how she felt when she was with television and color and all that stuff. Uh, but yeah, so you see a lot of stuff on social media, like people all putting up all this stuff. Oh, look, I got this vehicle, I got that, whatever, whatever. And then you come to find out, especially you see that a lot in Miami. If you don't believe me, you could just walk down Brickell Avenue. Those of you who are familiar with it, Brickell or South Beach, which, by the way, none of us local folks go to South Beach because it's just, there's too much riffraff and just touristy stuff over there, and it's just too crowded. But you will see, Lambos, they all kinds of stuff, but all those vehicles are rented. So you get to see, it's all highlight reels and whatever, but it's not the real grind that it takes for you to make something. So we all want results, but nobody wants the process. We get caught, man. And I think in a day and age where everybody thinks that they're entitled to XYZ because they deserve it, and it's like, no, dude, absolutely nothing here is free, and it's everything is always earned, right? Kind of like the Marine, like that Eagle Globe and Anchor from the Marine Corps, that is earned, it's never given, because the reality is discipline costs. Growth has a cost too. Leadership costs. Freedom, it also has a cost. So everything costs it, but the question is, are you paying it now? Are you putting it on a credit card called regret? Like, oh, hey, later on and whatever, right? So, I like to use myself always as an example. It took me 5 years to get into the warrant officer program, and the year, and you guys have heard me talk about this before. And the 1 year where I just kind of like threw my hands up in the air and decided to just, you know what, F it. I'm not going to apply. I'm just going to go to recruiting duty. And my package was not the best, in the sense that it was well put together, that thank God for the folks at Marine Forces Reserve in Louisiana that fixed it all up for me and were able to send that in. But my resume and my book spoke for itself. But each year, it was just, instead of another disappointment, I was like, okay, what else can I do? So it was doing Marine Corps correspondence, getting better physically, mentally, going to schools, just building up and building that credibility within my industry, so that when that package came in front of that evaluator, they're like, oh wow, this guy's a great candidate. Let's give him the opportunity after 5 years, right? What else did it take? Well, sacrificing time with my kids, with their mom at the time, going on deployment, going on recruiting duty, and all those things. And by the way, during recruiting duty, I had a lot of things just kind of fell apart. My son had, he was born with a medical condition, had to be hospitalized, pretty much, surgery. We literally lived at the Ronald McDonald House, but yet I was still a recruiter. I still had to go out there and make shit happen. All those different things. And my dad and grandfather passed away, both on the same day, very tragic. So a lot of things. So again, it's just, that builds resilience. And you could just say, man, why me? And blame the universe, God, and whatever else, instead of just saying it as growth and resilience. Because what an amazing story you can tell after, right? Like, holy shit, all these things happen, but I'm still here grinding and making it happen. So, and being disciplined, man, and I find that very challenging nowadays, especially with all these things. And look, I'm a huge proponent of social media because I do have a platform and a following, but these things are a distraction. I'm trying to, at the same time, I'm trying to grow. I'm growing a business. I'm also studying for these exams that are part of this requirement of this business. And I find sometimes being a nasty recruit where I get sidetracked and go on social media. And it's like, I got to catch myself. I'm catching myself more and more. It's like, hey, this doesn't move and I keep telling myself, hey, this shit doesn't move the needle, dumbass. You got to get your shit together and get back into it. Right. But that also leads to growth. Even as little as you may think you may not be moving as fast and big as you would like it to be, but there's still growth. I know I've grown over the last couple of years tremendously in the financial industry, as a human being, as a husband, as a father, as a provider, and just and mentally and physically, that I forget to recognize myself and give myself some credit for doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? So and it also requires being a leader, having that leadership as well, in the sense that being a leader to my teammates, being a leader, being a much better person to the team I'm trying to put together, so that they can emulate what I do. Yeah, I'm developing some systems, some things. So in order for me to grow within what I do, I have to walk the dog first and be that leader, so that way I can teach it and duplicate it, and everybody else, give everybody a waypoint so that they can be successful, right? So so what does that take? Well, there's front end pain versus back end pain. Now, some of you don't take that out of context, right? So let me just break it down clean and simple. Front end pain, what is that? Well, early mornings, getting up in the morning, doing your meditations, thanking the Lord for another good day, the ability that you can breathe, that you're still here, being able and spending some quality time with your loved ones, and exercising, having an agenda with conviction, and that, hey, regardless of what happens today, I'm still gonna make shit happen. Does that make sense? And training, even when you don't feel like it, because it's not about your fucking feelings. I used to say, well, you can't argue. I used to say this. I really did. My wife can tell you, because she's like, well, you've said this in the past. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. Fuck your feelings, right? Doesn't really matter, because I still do it even though I don't want to. I exercise. I physically, there's a lot of things that, obviously, a lot of residual stuff from the military, injury related, and despite the snap, crackle, and pop, whatever else, I still get up, I make shit happen, and I go about my day. And as the day goes, then this old diesel truck, the hydraulics and everything else gets moving, and we're good, right? So you got to do it even though when you don't want. And then obviously I no longer, because we do it when we're young, and maybe there's a small population that doesn't do that, but I did it too. A lot of us, as we're aging, or when we're younger, we instead of saving money, we're flexing. We buy shit. Oh, look at me. And we post. Nowadays we post, look what I have. So again, we have a lot of stuff, but we're not really set up financially, right? And then build a business and grind, even in the quiet. Be that ninja, be that black ops, that silent ops operational person, that sniper in that ghillie suit. Hey, don't let them see you coming. It's just when you get there, when you arrive, it's like, oh shit, when did this guy get here? How did he make shit happen, right? Because a lot of us, not only do we start later on in life, neglects from health problems. And I used to hear this all the time. Man, I can't wait to get out of the military. I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna smoke weed. I'm fucking this and that. And I'm, fuck the military. Fuck PT. And I can tell you, I'm here to tell you that that is the wrong way to think, because as you get older, shit, you get these things called cumulative trauma, or all the stuff that you did that you thought was cool and fun is gonna catch up with you. Your body keeps tabs. You eat nasty, you don't eat right, diabetes, boom, you'll get that. That leads to heart failure, all kind, blindness, amputations, dick problems, your dick ain't gonna work correctly, among other things, right? And then financial stress from poor planning. You think that, oh man, I'm getting a retirement from the Marine Corps. I got my VA benefits, whatever. I could just blow this money because that steady paycheck. And I'm here to tell you that go ahead, keep fucking around, and before you know, you're gonna be. So if you like living to paycheck, again, instead of sacrificing a couple of years, because a lot of us that retire, we retire in our early 40s, mid 40s, and then you instead of just keep on with those good habits, we lose our fucking minds, and then that's how we end up in trouble. And that's when we end up with that identity loss, and just wondering who could I have been later on in life. And I rather, as I'm looking at my life, like, man, I left it all out there, and I just gave it my all. I got the battle scars and the wounds to show for it, instead of just saying, man, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right? And which leads me to this, and I run into this. I wanted to couple this show with this right here, though. I almost joined, folks. Say, I almost joined the Marine Corps, and it's like I feel like putting my finger in the face, going like, "Shh, don't talk, shut up," because a lot of us hate that. Actually, I think all of us servicemen, when they say, "Oh, I almost joined dot dot dot," whatever, insert branch in there, it's like, but you didn't. So be happy. No, they blame it on my girlfriend, my mom. But in the reality, bro, the reality is that you were a little bitch. You have fear. You wanted to be comfortable. You didn't have the balls to do it, and it's all about self-doubt. So fucking be good with it. And yes, I have actually ran into, like, I would have, man, fuck that. I would have beat the shit out of my drill instructor or my drill sergeant. I wish they would have gotten in my face. I'm like, okay, dog, right. I'm, looking back, I was like, man, them dudes were, I mean, God bless the drill instructor. I was a recruiter, but God bless the drill instructor still, because I mean, them dudes, in recruiting duty, you could get fat as shit if you're not careful, and I mean, you become out of shape. But same thing, drill instructors, I mean, they're those guys are running on candy bars, never dose pills, all kinds of shit, and they just day on, stay on, and they don't sleep. So again, there's a toll charge to pay as a recruiter. Yeah, you get, it's a great career, but you get a lot of stress, away from the family. Same thing with drill instructors. So again, look right there. There's always a price, right? And what's the psychology of these? I almost joined. Well, humans, it's natural. We protect it. Our brain is wired to protect comfort first. We don't like pain. We don't like, those things. But it's fucking amazing what we can do. And I use as an example. I have a buddy of mine. His name is Steve. So shout out to Steve. Steve is an amazing individual. This motherfucker could have been it didn't occur to him, but I think he would have made a great Marine. The dude is super physically fit. He's about 10, 12 years older than I am, something like that. But the guy's a fucking stud. And we always do these physical challenges despite of, our aches and pains. But, that dude is, when I'm older, hey, the dude is jacked. Anyway, but it's amazing what our mind can do when we clear out the noise. And so, now I can do push-ups to a certain degree, and I always stopped at a certain number, but I kept pushing. I said, well, let me see how far I can take it. Obviously, too, I got to listen to my body, but it's crazy when David Goggins, I mean, that dude has his mind dialed in. I mean, the dude just ran an ultra marathon, and not that long ago, he just had knee surgery. Again, it's all about the mind and what you commanded, because a lot of us let our mind and a little bit of pain just take over, and we're like, oh fuck it, we give up, right? So, and I'm not here to mock you, the ones that the I almost joined people. I'm just here to highlight that, that decision that you didn't move on still lives rent free in your head. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Temporary discomfort lasts just months. Regrets last decades. Again, I do run, or even some service members. I almost joined the Marine, but I went into them. I'm okay. Well, be fucking content. You joined the Army. Good for you. You serve your country. Semper Fi, brother. It's one team, same fight. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, because a lot of people like to quit. Again, comfort and pain and everything else. A lot of people we're so dialed in to quit early. I mean, and if you don't believe it, that's why social media has such an algorithm that it just catches you. That's why Netflix has the autoplay. Again, it's all about comfort, feeding that comfort and keeping you glued in. But most people like to quit early. Again, things you get a little bit of pushback. That business venture didn't go the way you wanted it. Uh, you're achieving your goals taking a little or a lot longer than what you would have liked it to be. Instead of just being locked in, like fuck, you know what? I burned all my bridges. I don't have there's no lifeboat, there's no life jacket. This shit right here is it, as long as it takes. That's the level of commitment that you got to be in. Because and I'll just throw something else into that. The shit that you avoid is most likely the shit that's going to make you successful. You avoided going into the military for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. You could have been really successful at that. Have you ever thought of that? So you gotta chase motivation. Instead of chasing motivation, build discipline, build consistency, focus on that. Even just one little shuffle of a step is a step in the right direction. So a lot of people, they overthink, they overplan, they're waiting to feel ready. When is the right time? Bitch, is never the right time. It's never the right time. Just fucking do it. Figure it the f out as you're going into it. Okay. So what did I learn from the military? What did we all learn? Well, we can move anyway. We can execute anyway. Your feelings are weather, but the climate is the actual mission. So you gotta lock in, because dreams require isolation periods and locking in periods. Your friends aren't going to talk about, or they're not going to understand your growth phases. And a lot of times, a lot of our friends and loved ones, oh, maybe you should have a secondary backup, a backup plan, a B plan. What if this doesn't work? Or what if, yeah, they're trying to protect you, but fuck no. Stay committed. If people are whatever that may be, if people aren't hanging up on you, or they blocked you, or they don't talk to you, or they avoid you because you're chasing your dreams, then you're not doing it hard enough. You just got to keep going. 3 feet from gold. You're almost at that goal line. You got to keep going. Some people are going to call you obsessed. Yeah, fuck yeah. That's okay. Because they're not going to, at the end, they're not writing a check, and they're not giving you that paycheck. So you're building something that they can't even see, but you have to see it. And again, keep moving forward and keep it at the forefront. So, because at the end of the day, the real enemy is future regret. You're gonna be in your 60s and 70s, and your grandkids is they may, and you're gonna start asking yourself, why did I avoid? What did I avoid because I was scared? Think about that. What the fuck did I avoid? And you're gonna be like, oh, this, woulda, shoulda, this, right? And how many times did you choose comfort over discomfort, or just a little bit of discomfort to get the shit done and get where you needed to be? And how often did you talk to yourself about greatness? I mean, those are some very powerful questions to ask yourself, because Regret is interest on fear. So, and interest compounds. It's going to go, it's going to go, it's going to go, right? So, not everyone, listen, at the end of the day, not everybody's built to join the military. Not everybody's built to start a business. But you got to be extreme. Do anything and everything that you do in life, you got to be extreme. Be that awesome dad. Be that extreme dad. Be that caring individual. Be that extreme leader. Be that badass motherfucker. Because like Bruce Lee once said, I'd rather be a gardener, a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a battlefield. All the riches, all the accolades, all the bragging, all that stuff is for the risk takers, the ones who took a chance, the ones who were committed, the ones who had the balls to go all out and leave it all out there on the table. In other words, los que tenían huevas, the guys, the ones with big balls, all right? That's how we said in Colombia, los que tenían huevas, right? So that's what you gotta be. Be that bad mother effer and go out there, kick ass, and take names. So, well, folks, I think we're getting to that time. I think this is a good place for us to index, make this stuff happen. So I'll just leave you with this. If you've been ruminating, thinking about things, going into that rabbit hole where you feel like there's no coming out of it, reach out to me, reach out to the show, reach out to somebody. There's plenty of things out there. Military One Source, TRICARE, the VA hotline, but just reach out. Nobody here wants to be at your eulogy, at your funeral, reading your eulogy. Does that make sense? So reach out to us. And if not, hey, if you want to be a guest on my show, hit me up. I love to have a conversation, showcase your product, whatever that may be, or your company. And let's reach out to me and let's have a chat. So with that being said, folks, I am going to sign off. Aistamas, Daisuki. I'll see you next week. Ara, get some. Bye.